welcome to another Purveyor of Light Photoshop Quick Tip. Today we have an interesting one. A customer wrote in and asked, I'm having difficulty with sky replacements, and especially when there's trees with a bunch of leaves and that making an accurate selection that doesn't leave halos and so forth, and can be very difficult, as he wrote in. So I thought about that, and I said, well, that would be a good tutorial to go over. It's actually pretty easy. It's going to require a few steps to do it, but the steps aren't hard, and if you follow along and then practice, you'll do it a couple times, and then this will become second nature for you. Okay, so here we have a shot, old wedding photo taken, and you can see that I have the sky blown out, and in photography you always make compromise, right? What you want, because it has a limited dynamic range. And I lost a lot of detail in the sky, and to be quite honest, I wasn't quite happy with the sky in this photo in the first place. But on a wedding day, you don't get to choose the weather. So let's see what we could do this image to do a sky replacement. All right, so let's get started. As with anything else, we're going to work as non-destructively as we can. And I'm going to hit Command or Control J here. Okay. It's a Control for PC, Command J for Mac. All right. So now I have a duplicate layer, and that's for safety purposes, so when I work. And now I'm going to look at it going, okay, how could I best select and mask the tree? Because if we look in the tree, we've got a lot of little details. So making this selection would be quite difficult. So let's see what we can do. I'm going to go ahead and go to the channels palette here. And on the channels, you see we have RGB, red, green, and blue. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the different channels and looking for the most contrast. You can see the tree here and the sky. It's very grayscaled. I want a little darker contrast between the two. So there's the green channel, a little bit more contrast there. And the blue, you can obviously see that the blue channel is giving us the highest contrast between the sky and the tree. So I'm going to go ahead and work with that. Okay, so I have the blue channel selected, and I want to make a duplicate of it. So I can right click and say duplicate channel. You can name it here. I'm just going to leave it as blue copy. And so now we have this duplicate channel. All right. So now before we get anywhere else making a mask, what I want to do is I want to increase the contrast as much as I possibly can so that I create almost like a black and white silhouette. That'll give me the best mask. Okay. So with the blue channel selected, I'm going to go up to adjust and levels. And if I drag the slider from the right, you can see I make the tree darker and darker and darker, right? So I'm going to darken to give me that, and I'm going to use the highlight side to make things as white as I can. And I'm watching that I'm not clipping out too much. We don't want to lose detail, so don't overdo. Okay, so there I am. I'm happy. I moved the dark and the light points in, and now I have a very nice contrasty channel to work with. All right, so I'm going to hit Command and click on the blue channel, And what that does is it highlights the highlights of that channel. Okay? And now I'm going to turn back on all the channels and go back to my regular layers. And I am going to, because I'm on the highlights, I need to invert the mask. Okay? Because I don't want the highlights. I want the actual opposite of that. I want the tree. So select and then inverse. Okay, and now we have the inverse of this. And now that I have that, I'm going to go ahead and hit my mask button, and I'm going to create a mask. Okay, and so now you can see I have a nice mask, and I can refine it by just clicking on this, and that'll show me the mask. And you can see how contrasty it is. Okay, so everything works out good. Okay, and just, oh, by the way, you hit Option or Alt while clicking on the mask, and it shows you the mask. All right, so now I have my mask, and now I am going to pull in a replacement sky and something that's close to the same horizon line. That's very important to make things believable, is watch the horizon line. All right, and if you can match up the horizon line, you'll have a pretty believable thing. So now I'm going to drag this in and drop it into my other photo. And there we are. And I'm going to drag this layer now, and I'm going to move it below the mask. And you can see right there, we have a perfect mask. And if you have any haloing or fringing around the leaves of the trees, you can most certainly do what's called a, layer matting, and then remove any white mat. And that'll, if there was any, I didn't have any fringing, but if you did, you could use that, and it would remove the white fringe or halo around the tree. So there we are. It's that simple. And of course, I can take the sky and I can move it around until I'm happy with it. It's entirely up to you. I can move the sky around and say, okay, that's about what I like. And there we are. And we didn't work that hard to make it. And so hopefully you found this useful. And get out, take a couple photos of your own, practice. And in no time, you'll be doing this without even thinking about it. Okay? You guys take care, and I'll talk to you later.